Now we're just kind of taking our test drive here with Peachtree, so we're not expected to know all the little details about how the engine and everything works in a car or how it works in the software. But one of the important things to know, whether you're driving a car or driving new software, is if you have a question, where do you go for help? Well, in the software, of course, there's a help system, and I wanted to show you a couple of different ways to approach this. I'm currently in the Inventory and Surfaces, and I'm going to click on Inventory Items. And you can see there's a little triangle down at the bottom. That means it's going to expand out and give me some options. So I'll click on that, and I'm going to click New Inventory Item. Now this actually brings up a new inventory item form, which is great, but the purpose of this isn't to actually fill out an inventory item. I wanted to talk about help. As we're looking through all of these fields, a lot of things will make sense, like a description, the item ID, and so forth. But if I look over onto the left-hand side, I will see that there's also another field. This field happens to be last unit cost. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. If you didn't know what the last unit cost was, and therefore what you should be entering into the field, you can right-click the field. You then have the option to say, what's this? What you are seeing is because I'm currently working on a Windows Vista system, so I have to kind of clarify this for you. If you're working on a computer that is not running Windows Vista, for example Windows XP, then you're actually going to see a help screen that tells you exactly what that field is about. But this wasn't brought over into Vista, so even though Peachtree 2009 says that it's completely compatible with Windows Vista, it is for the most part, but this is one feature that they didn't bring over. So I just wanted to show you that this may be something that comes up. If you're using XP, you can right-click and get help with a field. If not, we're going to have to go about it a little bit different way. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and close this window down. And instead, I'm going to press F1 on my keyboard. F1 brings up your help system, and that's really a universal key. In most applications, when you press F1, it's like going to the help menu as well. We need to talk a little bit about what's here because there really is a wealth of information, a lot of different things that I can look at. First of all, we have 3 tabs located near the top. I'm going to click on Contents to start. And you may be familiar with this because this is the way most help systems have worked for several years. Contents is kind of like a book and chapter analogy. If you want to know about getting started, for example, you can expand the Getting Started book. And inside you can see different chapters, like using Peachtree Help. You can therefore expand that. And eventually you'll get to a specific page that talks about what you're interested in. So this is really an overview, and if you're ever just looking around kind of interested in what can I find out about a certain type of topic, Contents might work. But you can also see that this is going to be a long way to try to find something specific. If you're looking for something specific, try clicking on the Index tab. Now the Index tab is good if you're looking for a certain keyword. What I'm looking for is something about last unit cost, so I'm going to type that in. You'll see that it kind of scrolls and tries to figure out what I'm talking about, and unfortunately last unit cost isn't something that's easy to find in the index. So instead I'm going to go one step further to search. This actually goes in and finds all of the text within help articles, not just the titles and keywords of articles. This time when I type in last unit cost, I'm also going to put it in quotes. That means it needs to find the entire phrase, not just 1 or 2 words. When I get it typed in, I'll press Enter. And then we can see that it has come up with several different topics that have to do with last unit cost. In fact, one of them is actually the field we're looking for. I can give this a double click, and then I can see the last unit cost information on the right. So even though I couldn't just do a right click because I'm on Windows Vista, I can use the help system and the search feature to find what I'm looking for. It takes a couple extra clicks, but it's okay. What if we are looking for some other different types of information? Well, let's go back and use a couple of those other features instead. Let's go back to Index, and let's say this time that I'm looking for keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to type in keyboard. By the time I finish typing it out, I can see that it's narrowed it down to several topics, one of which is exactly what I'm looking for, keyboard shortcuts. Give that a double click. This brings up the specific topics it found, and let's say that we're using the Peachtree menus. There we go. Now we get to see the information that we want on the right-hand side. So it's kind of a drill down looking for the exact information you want, but not too much work. Don't forget at the top of the help window, you can hide the left side of the screen. So if you're trying to work with this, you can expand and collapse. This gives you more room to actually see your screen instead of just the help window. To get that back, just click Show. You also can go backwards and forwards like in a web browser to previous topics. Now I'm back to maintaining inventory items. You can refresh the window, which you shouldn't need to do. You can go back to the home screen, and here's a helpful one. You actually can print a hard copy of a help topic. If it's looking at different steps that you need to follow, that might be helpful. Or if you're trying to look up information for someone else, you can print a hard copy as well. On the far right-hand side, you'll also find a glossary. So if you ever have terminology that you don't understand, the glossary can be a great help. I'm going to close out this window and remind you that you can get to this by either going to F1 or you can also use the Help menu. Now I still have my Inventory Items form open, so I'll go ahead and close that as well. And then just show you that the Help system itself has Peachtree Accounting Help, which is what we are in, with the F1 shortcut. And there's also a lot of other information here. So it's a good place to go in and kind of look around just to see what else you can find out about Peachtree. With that, you should have a great overview or a good test drive of Peachtree. Kind of be warmed up, you know what it's going to feel like, you know what to expect. Now, when you actually work with the product, you can start getting into the nitty-gritty details.